All right, guys, welcome back. We are watching Chainsaw Man, Season 1, Episode 11. Hard to believe we're already on the second to last episode. We were almost done. Not counting the movie, of course. Last time, well, Aki, whole bunch of stuff with Aki. He got 2 years left to live. Making a contract with the future devil, probably. When he doesn't have much of a future left for himself, does he? Or at least he certainly doesn't think he does. 2 years is not a long time. It really makes me think, like, what will the future devil mean for him, I suppose. I don't know. And it's Power and Denji have started their training with Kishibe, which is God, I rewatched like some of those scenes where they were fighting him. God, it looks so cool. He's such an awesome character. I love Kishibe. He's very awesome. He's very cool. I love his attitude towards Makima too. Um Either way, I don't know. I'm scared for Aki. It's just like a happy ending for Aki is just impossible, I guess, right? Like it's literally impossible. The best he could do is stop doing everything he's doing and try and be happy for a couple years, and that's all he could get. And that would be so impossible to convince him of like doing ever, right? So yeah, I don't know. It sucks. Anyway, we're watching episode 11. You can line your own copy up with this if you want to. We are starting in 3, 2, 1. Let me make sure I got my volume right. There we go. Man. Does anyone know how long Aki has left other than him, I wonder? Both eyes, plus their senses of smell and taste. They could only touch, huh? I wonder, will it take a liking to Aki? I guess it depends on how it views his future, right? I assume. Or his lack thereof, I guess. Maybe his attitude about the future, even. Is it really just an eyeball? That would make sense. Oh no, there's definitely more there. The future is the best. I suppose that's quite the attitude, huh? I did not think it would sound like that. I didn't think it would look like that. The future is the best. How does Aki feel about the future, though, you know? Obviously, like, I mean, the way the future just, like, works, his revenge is obviously something that will be in the future from his perspective, right? But I guess that's the question, is, like, what is the future other than whatever you plan to do with it, I suppose, right? It's an interesting question for every character in a way, like Denji too, you know? It's in the same vein as like goals and like the conflict between Aki and Denji about what they want, you know, with their lives in general, I suppose. God, this opening is so good. Oh, is that the future devil that's like dancing in that scene, or am I crazy? Okay. All right, what? I didn't expect this. Is that a requirement for the contract? Yeah. That kind of deflated him, huh? Show me your future. How does he do that exactly? Oh, that's I don't I don't like that at all. I guess, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, sure. Nothing to lose, I suppose. What is he gonna think of Aki's future, huh? Hmm. Entertaining, huh? Oh, okay, okay. Reside inside your right eye. That's it? That's all he has to do? What does that what does that mean exactly though? Yeah, yeah. Ooh. Great, good, awesome. Ooh, he doesn't want to know. Yeah, all he cares about. He doesn't care about himself. Yeah, interesting. What I was gonna say is his eyes look so much like Makima's, right? Like the circular pattern. Oh God, we're not making any progress. Is that a cut? They cut him. That's his blood. That's big. That's impressive. Or is that their blood? I can't tell. Or is he trolling them again? Hmm. Oh God, real combat, huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Is Kishibe... Kishibe does seem quite impressive. I wonder how well he can do against those two. Hmm. Oh, how nice of you. Of course, of course. I don't know how much Denji and Kishibe have talked about anything like that, you know? What would Kishibe think about Denji's attitude? Ooh, what's up, Makima? Can't blame you, really. Yeah, yeah. Ah, but he can't. He can't even do that. Yeah. Even viewing them as toys, devils, not humans. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Oh, they're aware. Well, she claimed. Okay, okay. You remain an ally to humanity. Interesting. Hmm. I suppose. Seems like a very, very canned response in a way. Yeah, yeah, it seems so. Oh, he's the only one willing to call her out like that, though, I swear. Interesting. Alright, where are we? Is that sword guy? Sawatari. Sure, I suppose. That's, yeah. Although, I mean, there has to be some kind of limitation to her power. Or she would have killed them already, right? Unless, of course, she wants them to do something. Interesting. Don't get bitten. Yeah. Oh. I mean, it looks like the zombie devil, right? Ah, okay, okay. Interesting. Okay, okay, okay. Hmm. What happens if a non-human gets bitten by a zombie then? He's made his contract. He has to. It's not really a question of whether he can or not, in his mind. He thinks he just has no choice, right? I mean, especially at this point. Yeah. I think Aki thinks of that attitude as, like, weak, maybe? Similar to the way he thought about Denji? Or at least he tells himself he does. Oh god, stop. Hmm. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna engage with it at all. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Hmm. Because he would view it as weak for himself to not try and kill the Gun Devil, essentially. Hmm. I suppose. It's an honorable goal in a sense, but it's including him. Come on. It's so sad because it seems so clear that the people around Aki, it's so obvious to them too that his goal is insane and he's going to destroy himself, you know. He already has in a sense. Ooh. Is this Yakuza people or oh, her eyes. They look like snake eyes, don't they? Oh, okay. Okay. Interesting. That's pretty cheap, frankly. I wonder. I wonder. Ooh, the names, right, right. Oh god, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, just any names you can give, essentially. Oh, sure. She keeps saying that. She keeps saying that. Very interesting. Ooh, necessary evil. God, their faces. If you say so, that's probably maybe that's something you tell yourself. Interesting, an interesting attitude that feels similar in a way to Makima, perhaps. Like maybe. Yeah, from the foreigners. What a great. He really feels like he's the one in control, but oh, yeah, they sure do. Oh, it's their eyes. Oh, wait, like it's their eyes? Like it's oh, okay, right, okay, right, right, right. Of course. Oh God, what the hell? Right. Oh, what the fuck? Necessary evil. Right. But what are you doing then? Makima keeps firmly at the end of a leash, completely controlled. Yeah. Huh. God, she is something, huh? Okay, we're doing it right now. Okay, okay. The snake devil seems so absurdly powerful, right? I wonder. God, we still don't know the sword guy's name, do we? Oh, Kobani. Hey, come on. He certainly has an interesting attitude. Did you? Ah, Kobani, come on. I wonder what she thought about him in his death. Okay. God, that is a huge building. Gonna be... They're just walking in. All right. Ah. God, Kobani feels so out of place. It's so sad. It's actually so sad. Okay. Interesting. Right. Ooh. Yeah. Interesting. Oh god, what? It's alrighty. The shark devil thing. Shark fiend. Okay, so he's just a fiend, I suppose. Interesting. Zombies can't taste good. Come on. Oh. Alright, here's this one, huh? Ooh. Got like the plague doctor mask. But not him? Ah. Oh. Oh, okay. Interesting. These are like the true dangers in a sense, you know? The ones that are kept on a leash in a way. Oh god, the spider devil. Ooh. I would think the spider devil would be very powerful. Yeah. Who do we have here? Oh. The angel devil. That is a very interesting. No animosity towards humans. Touching him drains your lifespan. Interesting. The angel devil. That feels like such a contradiction to even exist, but it makes sense, right? Of course. Touching him drains your lifespan. I think it makes sense. I think for Aki. Yeah. Oh. Interesting. Akuma, just... No name, huh? I suppose. Okay. So none of them are like Denji, right? They're all just fiends or they're just devils. They aren't like in the weird like form that Denji and like the sword guy are in. I wish we had like a name for it. Makima literally said like in episode 2 there, right, that it doesn't have a name. So unlucky. 4. Oh, not the 4th floor. Oh, oh god. Man. Oh. What do you do now, huh? Oh. This isn't Makima, is it? But I guess I don't know what else would cause that. Just that's very different than what we've seen Makima do before. But yeah, the nosebleed made me think of her, for sure. Interesting. God. What are you, Makima? Oh my god. I think my thoughts on her have changed some, in this episode especially. What's up, Sawatari? Are we, I really don't want him to use the cursed sword more. He has the Future Devil contract now. It's unclear what that gives him exactly. Spit it out. Another fingernail gone. Spit what out? Oh, the Ghost Devil. Great. And what, she controls it now? Yeah. Awesome. Oh. Oh. She's being affected too, but... Ah, he has to fight it. Oh, zoomed in on his eye. Yeah, yeah. It's certainly having some kind of effect, right? Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. He has some level of foresight, I suppose. Oh. God, it's like it's hard for him to keep up with it, you know? It looks like he's like struggling still. It probably takes a lot of work to like adapt to, you know? Yeah, yeah. Although it's so interesting, like the future devil already knows how he's gonna die, right? Oh. Oh. Strangle him to death. Don't tell me that's in the episode. God damn it. Fuck. Man. Man. Ugh. Ah, okay, okay. Ooh. Oh, I love this ending already. Oh, I love this one, actually. This one's so good. Hmm. I love power. Violence. Oh. Why does it do it did that on the last ending too? It's just like freezes like this. I don't understand. I understand why it does that. Is it like the I have no idea. It did that literally in the last ending as well. I have no idea. So weird. God, that's so. I don't know why it freezes. That was a good ending. I like that one. That was so. I don't know. Weird. Anyway, we will talk about the episode in the discussion. Okay, let's talk about the episode. So the standout thing of this episode to me is certainly all of the stuff with Makima, right? I'm starting to change my view on Makima, and maybe I should have thought of this long ago. But well, let's I'm trying to decide where I want to start this, I guess. What she talks about with necessary evil is very interesting. I I'm wondering she through her little monologue here about necessary evil, something that the state keeps firmly at the end of a leash, right? It certainly feels like she's talking about herself, like clearly, right? And if she's not talking about herself, then either she's very clearly talking about herself or she's like a delusional, right? It's either way, right? Um, and I guess I would say, of course, that this idea of necessary evil, what she has done here, I can't qualify this as necessary evil, right? It makes you wonder about the concept of necessary evil in and of itself, right? Is that even a concept that is realistic, or is that only used as an excuse for people's actions, right? Because the way that this Yakuza guy describes necessary evil, it's very transparently a ridiculous excuse that doesn't make any sense, right? He's saying that the Yakuza have to be so horrible and awful in Japan and do all this crazy shit all the time. Because in some way that's protecting the people of the nation from foreigners. That would be even worse if they had like a crime syndicates going on in Japan. Which is just insane, right? Like I very transparently crazy justification for doing what he does. It reminds me, of course, the first time we heard the term necessary evil was in episode 8. I think that was episode 8, right? The episode where Himino died, right? The sword guy, when he was talking to Denji about the Yakuza and about his grandfather, right? Um, and he said that he viewed his grandfather as being a necessary evil, right? Um, I went back and watched that scene, and he said like he really like tried to downplay his grandfather's actions, right? Like saying like he didn't kill people unnecessarily and all this stuff, you know. It just really seems like to me that necessary evil in and of itself is just an excuse, right? I can't think of any way in which it wouldn't be, you know. Um, the interesting part of it is that Makima herself, I guess it's unclear exactly, but she herself seems to view herself as her own actions being like a necessary evil in a sense, right? Like what she does here with the eyeballs, which is fucking crazy. It's their like I didn't even understand what she meant here for a second, right? It's their eyes. Like I didn't get it, right? But it's their eyes, it's their eyeballs. Like, man, and we're really saying that is a necessary evil in some sense. I just can't accept that, right? What I really want to try and do is connect this idea of necessary evil to other things about the story, right? To other like experiences characters have gone through. But I feel like it's hard for me to do that. It feels like it's not really new ground that we're treading, but it's hard for me to connect it to like anything that like Aki has experienced or anything Denji has experienced, right? Like, um, I don't know. It's hard to say. It is interesting for Makima specifically because I guess my idea about Makima now is I'm wondering if she's just like a devil, right? Is she herself just a devil? And maybe this sounds stupid. Maybe this is crazy because if she herself is a devil, here let me try and walk you through like why I'm at that point now, right? Is I really like her eyes. I remember saying when Makima or when Power first showed up that their eyes look so similar. The future devil, when he opens his eyes, God, where is it? It's like near the end of this scene, right? His eyes look so much like Makima's, right? Like this like the circles within circles like this, the weird pupils, the whole, look so much like Makima's eyes. And I guess a reason, like internally, why I've never thought Makima could just be a devil is because she looks so much like a human, right? But we are introduced to several devils that look like humans, and they talk about the concept of it too, with the angel devil here, which we'll talk about. It's very interesting. And the spider devil, we very specifically, right? He says something about, yeah, they maintain a human form. Devils that appear human are usually friendly towards us, but a devil is still a devil. Um, Very interesting, right? It makes me think this possibility of Makima herself just being a devil is very possible. The problem, the issue with that as a concept, right? Which it makes a lot of sense to me. It could, what kind of devil would she be? I don't know, something about a power and like power as a concept, not the character. Something about like power and like I don't know. She represents like manipulation and power and control and like leadership, maybe something like that, right? She has this very firm stance of a very firm position, rather. Um, in like the organization here, she like belittles other people so much in a way and manipulates them all the time. Like her whole thing about pets and keeping things on a leash. Um, so I guess I don't know what devil I would specifically say she could be. Um, and I mean the other problem with it too is like, does anyone know then? How would she hide being a devil? Or is she not hiding it? If she isn't hiding being a devil, right? If Makima is a devil, how like that's crazy, right? Why would they if knowingly if everyone knows she's a devil, that's like insane, right? That has to be crazy to have somewhat literally a devil in control of all of these devil hunters with a bunch of like fiends and devils working under her and all of this shit. There's no way people would let that happen, right? Like I just don't believe it. They wouldn't allow that. That would be crazy. Like someone like Kishibe, right? If Kishibe knew what she is, like there's no way, right? If Aki knew what she was, right? Aki, there's no way Aki knows, obviously. But does anyone high up? Would anyone high up know what she is if she is a devil? Um, I don't know. I don't know how they couldn't, and I don't know how they could. Like either way seems ridiculous to me. If they don't know that she's a devil, I mean, I guess that's possible. I guess I don't know how they would know, other than looking at her eyes and being like, oh, you know how there's a lot of devils who look like people? Maybe she is also a devil who looks like a person with her crazy eyes, right? But like, maybe it's not that simple. Maybe it's not that simple. I don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Like, cause this line too, right? It's their eyes really made me think more about her eyes too. It feels like this episode's really trying to point it out to you. Maybe I should have picked up on it before. Maybe I should have known before, right? Um, that she could just be a devil. Because she's not a fiend, right? At least based off what Aki said in one of the early episodes, and from all the fiends we've seen. Aki literally said, like, you can tell if someone's a fiend based off their head, right? And every fiend we've ever seen has had something crazy going on with their head, right? Like Power has horns. The shark guy that we had got introduced to in this episode has like a shark head, right? So Makima can't just be a fiend, right? At least not from what we know. I don't think she would be something like Chainsaw Man, like Denji, or like the sword guy, sword man, whatever you want to call him. Um, because again, it's like her because of her eyes, right? So yeah, I don't know, and it fits with a lot of other stuff too, like no one knowing what devil she has a contract with, us not seeing a devil, right? Like when she's doing the whole crushing people thing, right? The whole like puppet master idea. Which hey, maybe that's literally what she is. I still like that idea. That in some way she's like a puppet master in some sense. Um we don't see a devil, right? It doesn't look like when Himino does the ghost thing, it's like they've shown us the ghost hand before. Aki with the Curse Devil and the Fox Devil. It's like every other devil that someone has a contract with, we've like seen when they use their powers. With Makima, we didn't, and it's a secret from everyone. So yeah, I think that's what I'm locking in on now, is this idea that she literally just is a devil. But then it's complicated from there, right? It's complicated from there because then it's like you wanna try and explain her actions and her motivations and what she's doing. Like, if she's a devil, I have to assume that, of course, she's working against humanity in some sense, right? I just by default, right? I guess again, we were introduced to the Angel Devil in this episode, who, as they told us, has no animosity towards humans, right? Um, so Makima could be in that same vein, right? Makima, if she does represent in some way this power and manipulation and like, I wish I had like a more succinct word to say what I think she represents. I guess I'm just not sure. She could view it's like she views humans as like pets or things to control, things to have on a leash, you know. Um, so in a sense, it's like that is like a negative view of humans, but perhaps that's where it is for her instead of like some kind of animosity and wanting to kill them, you know. And I guess I mean she's achieving it pretty well. Like in a sense, if her nature as a devil is in some way like wanting to wheedle her way into a massive amount of like power. She's doing a very good job of it, right? And it's almost like this deceptive way through which she would be doing it. I think would feel even better to her in a sense, right? Like this, you know, like yeah, yeah. So maybe in that sense, maybe I'm locking in, I guess, on the idea that no one knows she's a devil, not even people who are high up, right? Um, yeah, makes sense to me. Like again, it's like Kishibe's attitude. Kishibe doesn't like her, right? Certainly not. Um, and it's like some lines like this, right? No matter what totally inhuman actions you take or how many of the pet dogs you get killed, I'll keep letting you off as long as you remain an ally to humanity. Like this line right here makes it sound like Kishibe does know, right? It makes it sound like he does know. He's calling her just an ally to humanity rather than saying she's a human, right? Like I don't know, right? Like if they were aware that she was a devil, this is the kind of thing that they would say. Um, but again, it's like the idea that if she is a devil, it just seems so crazy that knowing that she's a devil, that they would allow her to do this. You know what I mean? Like, because if she was a devil, I feel like with the suspicion that Kishibe has about her knowing about this attack and letting it happen and all of this stuff, they would just kill her, right? Like, I just don't believe for a second. It's so hard for me to accept if anyone has any idea that Makima is a devil, right? That would be crazy. That would be insane. Especially not someone like Kishibe, right? Because they would just have to be fucking stupid, right? They would have to be like, yeah, here's this devil that represents manipulation and power and all of these things, right? And it really seems like she's manipulating us and, you know, doing all of these things to gain power. And we're completely aware that that's what she is and what she's doing. But we're just gonna keep, we're just gonna keep letting it happen. Like, that's insane. Like, there's no way, right? There's no way. So that's my new Makima. That's my new Makima thing. Um, I hope it's not completely insane. I feel like there were so many things in this episode that like point to it so clearly that it has to be real. It has to be real. It has to be. Because really, like the big thing that made me think it just wasn't possible is just the way Makima looked. I thought if for a devil to look anything like a human, I thought it had to be something like Denji or a fiend, and I didn't think Makima was either of those. And a fiend, it's like you can tell if it's a fiend, right? Um, so yeah, I it makes sense to me. Anyway, let's go through the episode more. So Aki is forming this contract with the future devil. Um, what is the future for Aki? What does the future mean, right? The future is something he has thrown away for the sake of revenge, which again, it's like revenge for him is in a sense he's doing it for himself, right? Like as horrible as it is, the people that he cares about are dead. And I think the last episode really showed it very well with Himino's family member giving him all those letters and stuff. How it shows that the attitude, it's like because he doesn't have any family members left, they're all dead, right? The family member of someone very close to him who also cares about him in that sense. Like in some way at least. That's kind of the closest thing he can get to like I think understanding what the attitude of his family members would be if they were still alive, if they weren't dead, right? Which is they wouldn't have wanted him to have thrown away his entire lifespan and his entire life for the sake of revenge, right? He's doing it for himself. He's doing it to satisfy his conflicting, horrible feelings about what happened to his family, which I understand completely, which makes a lot of sense to me. Um, and through the process of doing so, he has thrown away his own future entirely, right? Um, I guess it probably comes from this belief that it's like that he doesn't deserve it, I suppose, right? Like, I mean, the fact that he's willing to have thrown it away, to have thrown away his own life so much. Like, of course, right? So him forming a contract with the Future Devil is very interesting in that sense. The Future Devil sees his future. The Future Devil has a very bizarre attitude, for one. I didn't think it was going to be this, that's for sure. But yeah, the Future Devil sees his future and tells him that it's horrible and awful. He's going to die in a horrible, terrible way. Blah 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 blah. Which Aki doesn't have much of a reaction to, because I guess he doesn't care. He doesn't care if he's going to die. He doesn't care about his own future. He's already thrown it away, right? He's resigned himself to having no future every time he uses the curse sword, right? All he cares about in the future is his revenge, right? And all the Future Devil wants to do is reside in his right eye. The reason is that you're going to die a horrible death in the future. And I suppose the Future Devil just, like, wants to see it, right? He wants to... I guess it'll be an entertaining future for him, huh? As long as I can kill what I want to kill, I don't care what happens afterwards. Yeah. And through the contract, it has granted Aki some amount of, like, future, like, foresight, I suppose, right? Like, he can see very briefly into the future, I suppose. It seems like when he's fighting later on that it's like it seems like it's hard to, like, keep up with, right? Like his actions seem like such a struggle and so uncoordinated in a sense, because it's probably very difficult to use properly, right? I mean, he's doing a very impressive job of it until he's dying at the end, but still. So Denji and Power have, I guess they they did something to Kishibe, and that's good enough for him. Some 10 out of 10 moves. From now on, we don't need to keep training every day. Go for 1 day a week. Awesome. Thank God. Finally. And we're going into real combat. We're really just we're kicking it off. We are doing the raid on Sawatari and the sword guy and all of this. I don't know how we're gonna have a conclusion to this season that is in any way, like, not just a giant cliffhanger or something, right? It feels like there's way too much stuff going on. I have no idea how we're going to wrap anything up in any sense, right? Like, I guess we can go kill the samurai sword dude and the snake bitch, but, like, that's not. I suppose. I guess we can get that done. The new 4th Division's debut, and the 4th Division certainly has some interesting members in it. The division will be finished. This is the real test. Now I can be better at killing devils, and that'll help me get together with Makima-san. I wonder if he's talked to Kishibe at all about, like, his goals and all that kind of thing in that sense. And I wonder what Kishibe thinks of it, right? Kishibe is someone who, to me, almost feels like he's in, like, survival mode, in a sense, where it feels like what Kishibe really wants is just... He's similar to Himino in a way. He just doesn't want the people around him who he cares about to keep dying. And it seems like he himself, we don't really know anything about, like, a real concrete goal that he has, right? Which is very interesting, because he's a very old character compared to everyone else, right? So with age, I wonder how different his outlook on life and that kind of thing is. Especially because it's like he's faced so much unimaginable loss in his life just by the nature of his job and how old he is compared to everyone else, right? I don't know. So Kishibe and Makima have a little chat. Every time the dogs I train die, I have to drink more and more. I thought I wouldn't have any guilt if I could think of them as toys. But in my old age, I seem to get worked up over toys too. Yeah, and it's not only that he tried to view them as toys, it's like he tried everything he could to disregard them as people, right? Like just viewing them as devils, saying they have no human rights, that they're not humans at all, viewing them as toys, you know. And despite that, he still can't. I think it's an impossible feeling, right? You can't discard it, right? Yeah, it's unavoidable. It's part of being human, I suppose, right? Which is an interesting topic when talking to Makima, huh? I guess viewing other people as toys is actually a very interesting thing for Makima too, right? Because Makima truly does view others like that, I believe. It feels like that's perhaps like her nature, right? Um, it's like she doesn't think anyone is her equal ever, right? It's every conversation, everything she ever has. She really views the other person as a toy, as something to be manipulated and have power over, you know? Hmm. The attack on the special divisions. The people at the Bureau aren't stupid. You knew about it and did nothing to prevent it. No matter what totally inhuman actions you take, or how many of the pet dogs you get killed, I'll keep letting you off as long as you remain an ally to humanity. And again, it's like this line. These lines, they feel so much like they know. It feels so much like right now in this moment, he is saying everything without saying it, that she is a devil. But in my mind, I just can't square the idea of them knowing that she's a devil, if she is, I suppose, right? Hmm. It was a risky move by Makima, it feels like, right? What she did here. But I wonder, I mean, everything that she does feels so calculated that I feel like it has to be impossible for it to have been like a serious misplay in any sense, right? And I suppose, based off what Kishibe here says, that she didn't go too far. Maybe she's towing the line, but it feels like, she still has her position. She still has her authority, right? I guess that's a good word for it, right? Could she be like the authority devil in some sense, right? Based off like what she says about necessary evil too. Necessary evil being something that has to be at the end of a leash, you know? Something controlled by her, I suppose, right? It's such a narcissistic way to view it from her perspective, right? And that's kind of her as a character. The idea that necessary evil is only necessary if she's the one doling it out, you know? Of course she would view it like that, right? I just want to save as many people as possible from falling victims to the devils. If our current plan succeeds, the existence of the 4th Division will be actively reported on. And then it will be easier for us to act and be more effective in saving people from devils. It just seems like such a nonsense explanation. It feels like such a ludicrous explanation for her actions in a sense, right? The idea that she's doing everything for humanity, that she's doing everything she's doing just to save people from devils, right? Um, it seems like a very effective angle by which she can explain her actions to attempt to gain more authority and more power, right? Um, but I guess it's just really hard for me to accept or think at all that that is truly how she feels. Kishibe isn't buying it either. Yeah, liar, right? Yeah. God, and the fact she smiles after that, I just Kishibe feels like someone who is almost outside of her sphere of influence in a way, right? God, influence is another word that I feel like is very well associated with Makima, right? Um, Reminds me of her not being affected by alcohol, that kind of influence either, right? Um, but Kishibe seems like someone who's outside of her sphere of influence, and in that sense, it's like you want to say that he's someone who could like get past Makima's shit, right? But it's just she's always like this, right? Always giving these little smiles. It just makes me feel like is Kishibe's attitude towards her something that's perfectly calculated too, you know? Um, maybe so, right? Maybe we aren't even close, right? If Makima in the end is the real enemy in some sense and is something we need to take down, which with her attitude about necessary evil and what she represents in a way for Denji, I believe she truly is, right? Like Denji's attitude towards Makima needs to change. If he wants to like truly have a happy life in any sense, I believe, right? To take control of his life in some sense. Um so I guess Makima in the end is feels like the final boss almost, right? Um so it feels like it's too early. It feels like if anything, if Kishibe is in some sense uh someone who's seeing past what she's doing, I feel like either he will fail and die and nothing will come of it, or this is all part of some further part of Makima's plan, you know what I mean? Um I don't know, and in that sense it's interesting how to me what Kishibe almost represents like for Denji perhaps, for Denji and power, I suppose both of them. It's like the road, right? He's just part of this one singular path that they see ahead of them. That Makima feels like she's part of too, you know. Kishibe feels like he's part of the same power structure that is keeping Denji and power like locked in like their line of thinking and their way of life right now. So I don't feel like he's going to be the answer in any sense to freeing us from like Makima's influence, you know what I mean? Like just like on like a meta level, I suppose, right? So we see this giant crazy building that they're staying in. It's like ridiculous, honestly. This is God, an insane building. I don't know how we're gonna deal with all of them here. I guess Aki found Sawatari pretty quick, huh? But still, an insane building. Boss is now staying at the villa. As long as Makima is alive, there's nowhere to hide in all of Japan. Yeah. Um, so Makima didn't know their names before. Again, it makes me wonder, how did Makima know the names of all of those random people the first time, right? The first time that she used her power a couple episodes ago? I don't know. Either way, she's gotten a bunch of names now, including Sawatari's, it seems like, right? With her nose bleeding at the end. Um, but she didn't die. So I guess I just wonder what I wonder how Makima's power works exactly, I suppose. I guess it's just a big mystery, you know? They don't know how Makima's power works, right? It seems like she would just have the power to crush them and kill them instantly, but maybe it's not that easy. Or perhaps, I guess maybe an important thing as well is if Makima herself, like I don't know, this is just a theory, I guess. If Makima herself crushed them all, part of the goal of all of this, I think, is probably to make the fourth division look good. She wants them to succeed. She wants specifically maybe Dingy to succeed, whatever her interest in him is exactly. So she wants them to look good. She wants them to succeed, not to do it all by herself, perhaps. If Grandpa was here, he wouldn't even consider running. He idolizes that guy so much, right? It's very interesting. Plus, that piece of shit Dingy's in the fourth division. I'm definitely ripping out his heart at this time. It's interesting he hates Dingy so much. I wonder why, right? Like we know, of course, he had this connection to the Yakuza, the old Yakuza guy in episode 1. He's his grandson, right? And we know Dingy, in some sense, killed him. Kinda, really, the zombie devil killed him. And is that reason enough alone for him to hate Dingy so much? I don't know. I don't know. Even if he dies, he can revive. He is immortal. Yeah. And they have the zombie devil. They have the zombie army from his grandfather, right? Which I mean, it seems like they're kind of just mowing through it, frankly. But so these two have a God. I keep forgetting their names. Man, I could go back and read them again. But these two have an interesting conversation with Aki about his goal for revenge, killing the gun devil. And I don't know, it's something that's just impossible for Aki to really engage with at all, right? Like, um, I don't know. It's just they're tackling it from the wrong way, essentially. I guess they aren't really trying to have like a serious heart to heart with Aki. Really, they're trying to like understand him, I guess. Um, but yeah, Aki doesn't think about it in this way. He doesn't think about whether or not he can win against the Gun Devil or whether or not it's realistic. He thinks it's something he has to do. Like from his perspective, he has no choice, right? Especially this far in when he's already given away like his entire life, right? Like no, from his perspective, he just has to do it. The idea of whether or not it's possible isn't even something that he considers, you know. Not the traffic lights. Traffic lights are a sore spot for me. Those who know. You're weak, yet you chase your goal like a manga protagonist. It's so cringy, I get goosebumps. Right, right. And yeah, are you done complaining? Just shut up and watch. And when I lose and die, come laugh at me. I know that I've lost sight of what's possible for me and what's not, but I also understand that's the only way to go about this. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. They throw him a soda, throw him a Coke, I guess. I'm annoyed at you, but I'm also rooting for you, so let me tell you one last thing. Everyone in the special division is nuts, so be careful. Yeah, I like those two. I do like those two. So yeah, we're back here, Makima talking to the Yakuza guy. I mean, it's again this concept of necessary evil. I guess we've talked about it for a while. Um, it's an interesting concept. It's an interesting concept because it's like it's hard to relate. It's hard for me to relate to the other things in the story exactly. Like, I want to try and relate it to Denji's experiences, right? Like, what he was going through, like, early on, like in episode 1, like his backstory, right? With the Yakuza debt and all of that, you know? But I don't really know how to relate it to that. Like, I guess the problem with this idea of necessary evil is no one wants to think of themselves as just a horrible monster. So in some sense, it's like anyone who isn't just a crazy criminal, like doing illogical, insane things, will want to view themselves in some sense as a necessary evil, if possible, if they're able to justify it in that way to themselves, right? Like we see how the literal Yakuza is able to do that, right? By just saying if it wasn't us, it would be worse, you know? And that's just always an excuse they can use, right? So Sawatari, her eyes, so snake-like, right? Hmm. Through her, some of our youngsters seem to have made contracts with the Gun Devil. Each contractor pays 20,000 yen to the Gun Devil in return for a gun plus ammo for it. That is honestly not very much money for a gun, right? Guess devils need cash too. Not that different from humans. Even this line too, right? Makes you really think about Makima. Um, that is an interesting deal, because I guess I don't think that devils do need cash, so I wonder why the Gun Devil presents it in that way, right? I don't know. I don't know. Makima wants all the names, of course, of course. So she can kill them. And he really tries to, he feels like he's the one with all the cards, but of course not. Of course not. Not when Makima's in the room. For the safety of the people of this nation. The heard of necessary evil. It feels like it must be, considering the fact that the first time we heard of this necessary evil thing was also from the sword guy in episode 8, right? It really seems like it's something that must be very common in the Yakuza, at least here, right? Necessary evil. They both seem so convinced by it in a sense, right? Or at least they're trying to convince themselves about it. But I think it's interesting because I think Makima truly feels like that too. Maybe, right? Maybe. If she does represent in some way like authority and that kind of thing, then I think it makes sense that she would view herself in that light, right? Everyone here has someone they care for. It's their eyes. Man, what an insane thing, huh? Like, that is such a crazy thing to in any way think of as some kind of necessary evil, right? Like, she went and got just ripped the eyes out of a bunch of people that these people care about who are completely unrelated, have nothing to do with the situation, right? Like, no, it's just that's just it's just not. It's very clearly meant to make you question the idea of necessary evil at all being an excuse, right? Like, yeah, man, the Bureau has someone who can restore those eyes. I wonder if they even do. I don't know who has the eye restoring devil contract. If you cooperate with us, I will introduce you to that person. God. And his nose starts bleeding. It's interesting. It's like there's something about Makima's powers we still don't understand in some sense, right? Before, when she used all those like death row inmates, basically, it felt like she was using them in some sense as like a conduit for her power or something, right? Like she needed like a subject in order for her to use it. Here, she certainly doesn't, right? So I don't know. I wonder. What you call necessary evil is just an excuse you use to make your ill-doing seem righteous. Same as you, right? Society has no use for that excuse. The real necessary evil is something the state keeps firmly at the end of a leash. Which is that's no different. That's no different from her perspective, right? That's her just saying what she is doing is the real necessary evil. So we're introduced to all of these members of the 4th Division. God, I'm so sad about Kobani. I wish Kobani would quit so bad. Why didn't she quit? Is it because Himino's dead, right? Like, she said she was gonna quit. She said she was gonna tell Himino that she was quitting. I wonder if something about Himino's death has just trapped her further in this in some sense, right? It's such a sad parallel to Denji in a way. She is trapped here essentially for the same reasons that Denji was trapped with the Yakuza, you know? Um, it's just so sad. Man, I want to go home. I know, Kobani. Oh, God. What's the plan? There is no plan. Sounds good to me. Perfect, perfect. They just walk in. Yeah, sounds great. Sounds great. So Kishibe talks about, he introduces us, the audience as well, to all of these members of the 4th Division, well, explaining them to this member of the cops, right, who, yeah, they need a contingency plan for the non-humans of the 4th Division as well, because of course, working with devils is very dangerous. We got Shark Guy, who is a fiend, the Shark Fiend. We don't get names for any of them. They're very, yeah, they are in a sense rejected any form of humanity through just being called what they are rather than a name, right? He can swim through all kinds of surfaces like the walls and the ground. Man, I bet he got a lot stronger after like Jaws released, huh? Although I wonder, when did Jaws come out? I don't even know. Jaws release date. 1975, and I mean the Soviet Union still exists in this universe. I assume this is after like Jaws came out. Probably, right? We don't know like what year it is, I guess, like in universe, right? We got the Violence Fiend. Normally a devil gets weaker when it becomes a fiend, but this one's too strong even as a fiend, so we have him wear a poison-filled mask at all times. I mean, violence seems like such a broad thing for a devil to represent that I feel like this would be an incredibly powerful devil, right? And then there's her, who she's not even a fiend. Yeah, she's a devil. The spider devil, which I would also imagine would be an incredibly powerful devil. Like the snake devil, right? Spiders seem like something that people are so generally afraid of. But I wonder if like the depth of the fear that you experience is also part of what gives a devil its strength, right? Like obviously fear of a spider is something that a lot of people have, but it isn't something that is like a long like the depth of that fear feels like something that is less so than something like fear of the future, like for the future devil, right? So even though fear of spiders might be something that is so commonly related to the idea of fear, it isn't like such a deep kind of fear that the same way like the fear of the future would be, or the fear of eternity, or those kinds of things, right? Devils that appear human are usually friendly towards us, but a devil is still a devil. God, and that line alone makes me think no one knows what Makima is. They just can't. They just can't. She'll kill humans if they bother her. And then the most interesting one here is the angel devil, which at first it feels so contradictory. It feels so conflicting, right? An angel devil, but it makes sense. I understand the fear of angels for sure, right? I think the very concept of an angel is something that many people certainly would fear, right? So it makes sense, and I guess it makes sense that it takes this form, something that isn't aggressive towards humans, has no animosity towards humans, but yet drains their lifespan when it touches them, right? It's like the very existence of an angel in and of itself, in any sense, is the thing that is terrifying in a way, right? Like not the actual angel, but the fact that it exists, I suppose. He's a special case and has no animosity towards humans, but don't get near him. Touching him drains your lifespan. And it makes so much sense that the only person here who doesn't care about any of that is Aki, right? Because we know how Aki is in terms of his lifespan, right? Of course. I'm surprised how willing you are to get close to me. Yeah. Touching me would shorten your lifespan. Hmm. In that sense, I wonder if Aki particularly has a. It seems like everyone else would be scared of the Angel Devil, so I wonder if Aki has a closer connection to the Angel Devil than others do. I assume, right? In some sense, it seems like they know each other on some level, right? I just wonder. I wonder how he feels about that, right? How he feels about the Angel Devil's like existence and like their effect on people, right? Considering how he himself has shortened his own lifespan and how he views like the loss he's experienced. I don't know. I don't know. It's I'm sure something we will talk about more in the future. Better than fighting, at least. Going for the Samurai Swordman and the Snake Woman, absolutely. He goes up to the 4th floor. God, that not foreshadowing at all, huh? Fuck. Oh, okay. So I guess the reason why he's able to dodge this bullet is probably the future sight from the contract with the future devil, right? Makes sense, makes sense. And all of them are affected by, again, it's like what I can only assume is Makima's thing, of course. Takes a different form than it was before. Again, it's like I almost wonder if Makima doesn't want. There's actually so many possibilities, right? Like, one, is Makima not able to manifest it as powerfully right now because she isn't doing whatever she was doing before with like the death row inmates, right? It's like she doesn't have some kind of conduit for it, something like that, you know? So that's all she can do without having like some kind of interface like she was doing with the death row inmates. Two, like another possibility is she doesn't want to make it obvious that it was her who did all of this because she wants people to attribute this victory to the fourth division and more specifically Dingy as part of that. I don't know. There's so many possibilities for like what she's doing, right? Ah, man. So Aki sees Sawatari, and she herself, her nose starts bleeding in a moment. She's also affected by Makima's thing, assumedly, right? I mean, this is what it seems like, right? Um, which is very interesting because she doesn't like faint. She isn't affected by it as strongly, it seems, which is interesting. God, you can see all of her fingernails, like the effect that it's had, right? That it's so unfair in a way that all she has to give up is a fingernail. Like all she has to give up is a fingernail for the ability to use the entirety of the Ghost Devil right here. When Himino had to give up everything, you know? It's so unfair, you know? But yeah, she spits out the Ghost Devil, which I guess just the Snake Devil seems absurdly powerful, right? To have all these abilities. Man, it's like, again, it's like I'm assuming this is Makima's ability, and that this isn't in some way like a further effect of using the Snake Devil or something, right? I mean, that's certainly what it seems like, you know? But I guess I don't know why it isn't affecting her as much as before. And again, I guess I'm assuming this is Makima's ability. I mean, that's the only thing I can really assume it is that is affecting all these people, right? It's so sad that he is fighting the Ghost Devil, right? Like, I just, like, what it immediately makes me think of, obviously, Himino, right? Like, the connection the Ghost Devil has to Himino, but also, like, the sense that Himino, having had the Ghost Devil as well, Aki fighting it right now, it makes me think of, like, ghosts of the past, in a sense, right? Like, a ghost is always, or a lot of the time, representative of some way of, like a past regret, something, something that remains on Earth because of someone who died, and they have regrets about it, stuff like that, which feels so relevant to both Aki and Himino as characters, right? So him fighting it like this, him fighting it and it like almost killing him as we see at the end here. I assume he's not gonna die. I mean, I guess he fucking could. Knowing this show, knowing this author at this point, maybe he will just die. I'm gonna assume he's gonna not. Um, but him being like defeated by it, struggling against it so much, struggling so much against ghosts of the past, makes a lot of sense for him as a character, right? With the struggle that he has with his past. I'm gonna hope he doesn't die. That's for sure. That's for sure. I guess we never know though. Yeah, I suppose that's it. I feel like this discussion was filled with a lot of rambling about nonsense, but I hope that's okay. Hope that's okay. I just feel like we're being introduced to a lot of themes that it's hard for me to connect to other stuff so far. It's feel like maybe they aren't really new themes exactly, but it's things that I feel like I just need more to really, like, have a firm stance on a lot of it, right? Like, this idea of necessary evil. The problem with this with the theme of necessary evil that we're talking about is it's so easy for me to just reject as a concept that it's hard for me to say how much further I should, like, engage with it than that, you know? So I hope I'm not being unfair to it. Either way, I guess that's it. So please, if you enjoy my videos, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next one.